So I just saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and what do I think? So I just came out of the theater, and it was so much fun. It was so funny. It was fantastical. It really was a really good time. And I think Marvel was due for a really good movie like this. So I'm really happy that this got made and how viral it's going. I mean, this is going gangbusters. There's spoilers everywhere on the internet. So if you haven't had it spoiled for you already, it's gonna, if you haven't seen it already. The movie for me was really good. And that's my initial thing. I do have thoughts in terms of where this is going, the kind of business side of it all, and is there like Marvel fatigue? Is there comic book movie fatigue setting in? And for me, when I saw this movie, I didn't feel that. So for me, the Marvel fatigue didn't set in for this movie specifically, but I haven't been watching a lot of Marvel stuff up until maybe the second season of Loki. I kind of stopped watching everything. So I know enough to get by, and this movie does one of those things where if you haven't watched what's been going on, you might miss a couple things. I mean, you could watch this movie and not be lost, really. The story is simple. Deadpool needs to save the world, right? The universe, whatever. Really simple, cut and dry story. But there's a lot of Easter eggs, hidden jokes, a lot of world building that you'll probably miss if you haven't seen the recent Marvel things. But way back too, if you haven't seen like the first X-Men and all the X-Men's and all the Fox stuff that was before, and I don't want to spoil it now. There is that thing where how enjoyable can this movie be for like a normal person? I mean, this wasn't made for, I think, anyone. I think it was made for specifically the people who've been catching up and watching Marvel, which is a very specific group of people. People are going to get dragged to this that probably have never seen Marvel before or don't know what's going on with the multiverse or any of that stuff, and they're still going to enjoy it, I think, very much so. But it does help you to really get the full flavor of this movie if you've kind of been seeing and watching everything for the last 12, 15 years. I mean, I think more, right? I think 20 years now. So, but that being said, to really get into the movie and to kind of talk about the ins and outs and kind of the specifics, I will have to spoil it. So right now, this is your spoiler alert. You got like 2 seconds. So press play, stop it right now. Here we go. So like I mentioned before, the movie works really well if you're up to date with everything that's been going on, right? But that can be really, really complicated and really not for the average person. Even for me, that's an avid comic book reader since I was a kid, who's watched every single thing since the original X-Men, the first Spider-Man, like up until this point, it still is a lot to track and to keep in the back of your mind. And it's like, oh yeah, there's the thing, and here's, okay, that's the callback to that. And it's great and all, but I feel like that kind of pandering and that kind of fan service, like, it elevates the movie to that level of eye candy. But is the movie really just more than that? You know, the story is really basic. It's Deadpool saving the multiverse, or his universe technically, and for you to understand what that means, you have to have watched season 1 of Loki, season 2 of Loki technically, understanding what the multiverse is, a sacred timeline. See, there's all these things that are just, I don't know, like to an average movie watcher, is that gonna be, you know, like over their head kind of thing? The story is pretty boring. I mean, if you ask me, right? Deadpool saves the world. There's a formula here that keeps being played, and the one thing that I do love about Deadpool, just in general, is that how subversive he is about the franchise itself, the way that these movies are made, him winking an eye to, yeah, this is what this is, but like, you love it, don't you? And I mean, truth be told, I do though. And that's the thing. I do love it. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. So it's not really a complaint per se, but it's just a worrisome thing that I feel like, well, how much more can Marvel keep cranking out and do? So in this movie itself, I mean, I'll try to go down this list. We have Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, Blade comes back, played by Wesley Snipes. We got Jennifer Garner that comes back as Elektra. We have the first kind of movie appearance of Gambit, played by Channing Tatum. We have Sabretooth that's come back. We have Pyro that's come back. We have references to all the X-Men. We have actual visual references to a bunch of Wolverines in multiple universes, all comic accurate. The Hulk shows up at one point. We have Charles Xavier's sister as a variant, and she's the main baddie, and she comes into play in the second act. And that's all great and all, and it's fun. X-23 comes back. See, there's so much more I can keep. There's Dogpool. There's a bunch of Deadpools. But see, that's what I mean, right? There's so much going on here, and it's great. It's all fun. It all works within the premise of the movie. But where do we go from here? Like, at this point, what happens next, right? So as of this recording, RDJ was just confirmed to be Doctor Doom. Now, I don't know if they're going to play into the multiverse thing, which I'm assuming they are. He's probably going to be a variant of some Tony Stark thing where a lot of the original heroes will recognize him, and it'll be this weird thing where he's like the bad guy all of a sudden, which I'm assuming is what they'll do. I mean, it's pretty obvious, I think. I don't know. And he'll probably just play Doctor Doom in one film to kind of throw the scent off, having another actor play Doctor Doom for, longer. I don't know, though. But with that being said, I mean, bringing RDJ back, if it just feels like this, like, grasping at straws, trying to, like, bring in big name talent or someone really recognizable that people will want to watch these movies again. It's really, really obvious. I mean, it's a common fact right now that nobody's been watching their Marvel stuff for the last at least 2 years. It's been doing really, really bad. Post kind of Endgame stuff, the Marvel hasn't been doing well. So compared to what they've been doing, right? So I don't know what this is going to be. And while this movie was fun and all, what happens after this? Like, Deadpool is now officially in the MCU. But is Wolverine going to come back, right? Is Hugh Jackman going to play Wolverine again? I mean, there is a joke in the movie itself where you're going to be playing Wolverine until you're 90 or something. That feels pretty much like it could be obviously true, right? Oh my God, I forgot that Henry Cavill has a cameo in this as Wolverine. And I'm telling you, I mean, this movie's packed to the gills with like cameos on cameos. But but besides that, what is this movie, right? Is this the launching off of this, like, the new phase, right? Is this a phase 5 or whatever phase we're on? I don't even know anymore. But that's what I mean. I've only missed a couple of shows and movies, and I'm already kind of lost. I'm like, okay, well, damn, what's happening now? And I just don't know how longer this can last, feasibly. Seems like they're digging themselves into a hole, a deeper hole, than digging themselves out. So I'm just not really sure what this is supposed to be. There's a Fantastic Four movie coming out. I'm not sure how X-Men is coming in now. The movie doesn't really kind of explain that, really. So, don't know when that or how that's going to appear. I think the Fantastic Four, is probably going to do that. Can't remember now, but that's what I mean. Like, how much more complex and complicated can we make all of this? Because it all involves the multiverse now. It's like this version and that thing and then this group. The Fantastic Four, for example, that movie is going to take place in some other timeline, or I'm not even sure. Because it has a very like different look from the previews and all that kind of stuff that's been out. So who knows? I don't even know. And while Deadpool was really fun, I mean, even the intro was, I think, hands down, probably the best Marvel intro I've seen in a really long time. I want to say it's probably the best intro that I've seen in a Marvel film. It was really epic. I mean, Deadpool killing the TVA Minutemen, dancing to NSYNC's Bye 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 is by far the funniest thing I've seen a Marvel intro do. It was stupendous. But besides that, what else was this movie supposed to be, right? Because it felt like at least Deadpool's character was trying to be more than what he is, which was great, but it never touched on, and I don't think it ever executed that feeling. He does evolve in this film. He does become, the Deadpool of this movie isn't the Deadpool of the first film. He's definitely been on a journey. Now the thing is this over? It doesn't seem like it is. There's plenty of things in the movie that kind of show that this is going to continue. This is like the start of something else, right? There's even a reference to Thor in the film. I don't know how much more I could keep spoiling. I feel bad now that I've spoiled the entire movie practically. But what does this mean for the future of Marvel and all the movies that they're making? I know that they're doing a conscious effort of making less films, But does that necessarily mean good? I don't know. While this was a good start, I'm really happy that this movie got made and what it is. It still was pretty flat in terms of what it was trying to tell and what it was trying to say. And I don't know, you know, Deadpool saving the universe. Like, we've seen this trope already, especially with someone like Deadpool who could do more than that, right? Like, he can do more than just save the universe, right? It's not like he saved the multiverse. I mean, Loki did that technically. So I guess Deadpool couldn't have done that, but I don't know what this movie was trying to say besides that, right? Just being like eye candy and all that stuff. But that kind of works, though. I mean, that's the weird thing about this film. Like, that movie works in this capacity. Deadpool breaks the fourth wall. You want to see the spectacle. You want to see all the inside jokes. You want him talking to you, being subversive. And it all works. I mean, this movie, for me, really, probably one of the best Marvel films I've seen. It's up there. It's up there with Endgame, the first Guardians. It's in the top 5 for sure. I don't know what row yet, because I definitely want to watch it again. But that being said, has Marvel lost its magic? I don't think so, but it's waning for sure. And we really just have to see what happens after this, because this is a good start. This definitely feels like a reset, but then what after, right? So those are my thoughts on this film. Really awesome, enjoyed it, and we'll talk on the next one.